Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hello, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. Don't worry, it's not a solo show. Bigman's on his way. Gianni is just finishing up on his own channel and he's going to do a raid. So hopefully we're going to get a load of people charging in any second now. G is about to be with us. Thank you for the early arrivals that we've got on the show. Chris straight in there, Geddy's in there, United Ultra's in there. United Ultra, I don't recognise your name too much from the chat. Hello, mate. Thanks for jumping on board. Sigurd is in as always. Today might be the day, people, that we actually hit 10k subscribers. Like, we're right on the edge of it now. I'd like to believe that we get right there today. FC Aid is in too. He says hello, mate. Of course, here. Danish is ready for a Vardy party. Vardy's supposed to be my differential. Everyone's suddenly signing him. I got him 2 weeks ago. Why is everyone getting him? I want him to myself. CH, I miss you guys. Yeah, we miss you too. We do miss you too. Rory's ready for a Vardy captain party. I might be doing the same thing. Got to admit. Borough Gas is on a Vardy party. FPL stop it. Great Whites is doing it. No, this isn't a differential. This looks like 80% of people in the game are captaining Jamie Vardy. Oh, we're gonna have to have a chat about this. I could see Vardy go to Everton in the summer, says Offcore. I'm not sure that's a good idea for Everton. I think they should probably do something different than that, but who knows? Okay, so this is obviously the raid. This is obviously the raid that we've got coming, the Vardy party, captain party. I don't want you to all be doing this. I hope you're just saying it as part of the raid and that nobody's actually doing it. Ross, got your question there. You're the first one to send in a proper question, so I'll get to that in a second. While we let all the raiders come in, or we wait for Gianni to jump in on the stream. And here he is, Vardy captain party leader, I'm guessing. At first, I thought it was just people captaining Vardy, mate, and now I'm kind of relieved that was the raid word, because I was starting to worry. I was like, is 80% in the game suddenly, going Vardy captain?
Is he your different? It was more. This was just like, can I get Dean to captain Vardy?
I'm captain Vardy anyway.
Captain.
I'm doing it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's the right call. Like, I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, the plan wasn't necessarily to definitely captain him this week, but for lack of anything else, and I don't have much faith in that many people in the game at the moment. And why not? Like, my objective, just to set out to you all as you're all joining us today, there's over 100 of you in, and I'll wait while you all settle in and make yourselves a cup of tea and make yourselves at home. I'm at 200k. Fine, great. Like, I've had a pretty consistent season, to be honest, and I haven't taken hits. I've not wobbled too much. I think I might have got down to 1 million at some point, and then managed to bounce back from it. But apart from that, it's been okay. But at this point, I don't know really realistically how high I can land or how much it even really matters. I'm not going to end up in like the top 10k. It's not something I can stick in my bio. If I finish 120k, I'm not putting it in my bio, and it's not going to get people coming to the channel. So I've got to win my mini league. It's all about my mini league now and catching the guy that is 50 points ahead of me, right? The winner of our mini league not only gets, you had to say a little bit of money. I'll say we win pretend money. You also get to decide. It's about 300 versions of pretend money. Which is quite a lot of money. Very handy anyway.
Playing with that.
Yeah. Anyway, you also get to decide where the end of season curry is. Now, I can hold it in San Diego. They've all got to come. So I suddenly have 10 mates flying out to San Diego because I didn't win the fantasy league. That's the aim. At least got to give it a go. Or at least choose where all the other lads in England have to go for the curry. Or maybe I use my pretend money to fly home for the curry. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? But yeah, I want to win my mini league now.
Mate, if there's a curry in London and you do win, and let's say a flight is 600 quid, everyone, instead of putting in £20 pretend money, could go, let's get Dean back for it and put in 40 quid pretend money each. They might do a whip round, but you've got to win it first. So I get it. Vardy is great. I'm also playing for mini league success now. My best mate, who's the guy I wrote my FPL book with, he's not on Twitter or YouTube, but a few of the ultras in the WhatsApp group know him. He's in there, Toby. He's 30 points ahead of me. Yeah. He's a Spurs fan. He doesn't own Ollie Watkins. Oh. Now, I reckon there's a chance he brings Watkins in, but because he's a Spurs fan and he's a big Spur, I don't think he'll have the heart to bring Watkins in to captain him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I'm like, Watkins feels template. Like all of FPL Twitter are doing it. Fine. Yeah. But if I get 15 points out of Watkins and captain him, Toby's been giving it all week on voice note to me, like, Watkins is the obvious, and I'm like, yeah, you're pretending, you're trying to mind game me here by letting me think you're bringing him in, but I actually don't think you are, and I think if I bring him in, I can steal a march and make that 30 points up, because I do fancy, take ownership out of it.
Yeah.
Watkins this week makes sense, especially if you've seen the Postecoglou quotes today, right? He's pretty much said he can't. There's certain players he won't risk because he's worried about them getting injured. It's going to be. You saw what happened last week with Spurs. It's going to be mad. They're going to be all over them.
Oh, it's going to be like playing a non-league team. Like Tottenham, they're rubbish anyway, aren't they? I've lost 20 games this season. It's going to be 21. It's just like, how many is that defeat going to be by?
Yeah.
It might only be 2, but it might be 4.
Yeah.
Like, there is definitely a potential for that to be 4. Christian says he's going to go Rodgers captain. Interesting. Call
I like Asensio. If you're looking for a differential this week, Rodgers is clearly great. If you own him, don't sell him. If I was buying a budget mid, just for a big upside pick, a bit of fun at the end of the season, knowing he's a proper differential, I'd go Asensio over Rodgers.
I like Asensio too. I was looking through the options to see who else it would be, and I think Asensio is the one. I think that's the other place to go for Villa. Thanks to everyone that's joining us right now. We appreciate all of you.
We got a comment from Ross as well.
Yeah, he was the first one. He was the first one to send in an actual question when you were doing your raid. So I said we would get round to this. Thinking of selling Haaland and Eze to Watkins and Palmer, then do Alanga to Saka next week for free. Have a midfield of Bowen, Saka, Palmer, and Burma Rodgers. Is this stupid? No.
If you've got 2 free transfers, that's great use of transfers. I don't know if Haaland's going to start. Should we talk about Man City and starts? Like, how do you feel about De Bruyne and Haaland? The program's been printed, been designed, and it's obviously all about De Bruyne. It's his last home game. But what if the FA Cup final, De Bruyne gets 90, or even De Bruyne gets 120?
Or gets injured. I don't know. I think De Bruyne will play. Obviously, that last home game, but we can't predict what happens in a cup final. That's huge, just before it happens. So who knows? Bigman has joined us. So we'll give him a chance to say hello to everybody. Hello, mate.
Hello, Dean. Hello, Gianni. Hello, welcome to all the listeners and viewers. Hope all has been well.
All is well. Dean's got some big news.
He's having a baby? No, he's not.
He is captaining Jamie Vardy. We'll talk about captaincy later, big man. You're fairly well set on what you're doing. I can't wait to talk about Palmer and your big decision this week. When we last spoke, I was umming and ahhing on my move. But yeah, we do have some updates from press conferences. So, big man, you've been online all day. You've looked at any big news that we need to be aware of. I mean, here are the bullet points from Scout, but what are the headlines here?
I don't think there's any big news as such, and I'm glad that nothing has come out of this. I think Vardy not playing Gameweek 38 is a bit significant for people who are looking to buy. I think the only thing that changes is that you can only realistically consider him as an option as long as you have a strong 8th attacker available. But apart from that, I don't think there's anything which is of a lot of significance personally.
I saw the Trippier set to miss out means Murphy right wing back again, probably in a back 5. We saw that from Newcastle against Chelsea, didn't we? Like it got Murphy, Barnes and Gordon all into the 11. And obviously Livramento left wing back. Do you think we see a back five again, big man, from Newcastle?
It could happen given the fixture and given the fact that it worked well against Chelsea. I won't be completely surprised. I think it would happen against Arsenal, and I am sort of expecting Newcastle to get a result over there. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tricky sort of week for a lot of people considering to sell Isak, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about that fixture. The two games I really want to focus on. Newcastle, Arsenal straight away. Dean, how do you read that game? Newcastle very happy with a draw in that. Like if Newcastle get a draw and then they beat Everton on the final day, I think that gets them the Champions League. Arsenal, not really much to play for, but you could argue that a point they'd be happy with as well. Isak's got previous against this back line. In January and February, Arsenal beat them 2-0 with Isak tearing apart that back line. How do you see this one going with Newcastle potentially in a back five as well? Livramento owners, Murphy owners, Gordon owners, and loads on Isak.
Yeah, it's difficult to know which Newcastle assets to actually pick, but I do fancy them to at least come out of here with a decent result. I had the dilemma of getting rid of either Marmoush or Isak, so that I could bring in the player that obviously everyone wants, Beto. We saw this one coming a mile off. So I was like, right, I need Beto, but I don't want Marmoush or Isak, so one of them's got to go. And it's Marmoush actually that's gone, and I'm keeping Isak. So I've got that much confidence in Isak. Clearly, if I decided to keep him for the final two games instead of Marmoush. The defender, I've got Dan Burn, I've got Livramento. I'll play one of them, I imagine. I don't know which one. Dan Burn's like burning me actually at the moment. Anytime I don't put him in the team, he's getting like decent points off the bench. So that's been hurting me a little bit. So a tough call to make there, but yeah, very quiet confidence in Newcastle to actually even win this game. Arteta's talked today about his injury problems in the sense that there's a lot of players who are doubtful. Will he risk them? Don't know. I don't think like Declan Rice is going to play, for example. Like I don't see the point of Rice playing at this stage if there's any danger at all. Like just kind of give him the season off from here. So yeah, I'll be bold and I'll say that I think Newcastle win the game, but do I have confidence in keeping a clean sheet? Not necessarily. Yeah. And I've got Saka. I don't know how many people still have Saka, actually. Let me just quickly click on it and see what the ownership is. 17% ownership on Saka. So a little bit of a differential. So I'll play Saka, and maybe I'll pick one Newcastle defender. But I think, say 2-1 Newcastle win is what my prediction would be.
Big man, give us some Rob T graphics. We've got a graphic, I think, of clean sheet and stuff. Like if you've got your Newcastle defenders like Livramento or Burn, as Dean has, are you looking to play them or bench them? Where are the clean sheets and the goals coming from this week? Let's have a bit of a Rob T roundup.
Yeah, I think I would expect both teams to score in that one. And if I was to fancy picking a team, I think Newcastle are in a good spot to get a result in that game. As you can see in the graphic, both teams have low clean sheet probability. Arsenal at 29%, Newcastle at 17%. So I won't be rushing to play any of those defenders. I think the likes of Saliba, Kivior, Raya are benchable this week. I realize that not a lot of teams appeal for clean sheets this week, so not a lot of managers will have the luxury to bench them. I think playing one Arsenal defender is fine, but I don't think I would double up on their defense this week. I'm benching Kivior myself. As you can see on the graphic, the highest probability for clean sheet is Everton's, and that's 46%. So no team has a clean sheet probability of over 50%. So I think this could be a week where we see plenty of goals and where clean sheets are sparse, unlike last week where clean sheets were in abundance. I think we're struggling to have clean sheets for the popularly owned defenders. For example, you look at Man City. Man City only 32%. The likes of Munoz, Henderson, 29% for Palace. Just 29% for Arsenal, 17% for Newcastle. Even for Villa, it's 32%. So yeah, it is a bit of a lottery, I think.
Yeah. Christian said he's struggling to see these graphics on his phone, and that is a fair point. I've just looked on my phone. I've got it on the laptop, obviously. It's okay to read, but on a phone, actually, it turns out these numbers are impossible to see. So just for those that can't see it, it looks like Everton have the highest chance of a clean sheet, 46% chance of them keeping a clean sheet against Southampton. And then you've got Chelsea, 40% chance of keeping a clean sheet against Man United. I can't see it now. There we go. Then you got next up Villa and Man City with the highest probability of keeping a clean. And then, you got Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Brentford. I find the Everton thing quite interesting. I've still got a transfer to use, and I'm kind of tempted to make it a defender, to be honest. Now, the idea of an Everton player is appealing because, say, there's going to be like this thing of who scores the last goal at Goodison, and Everton scoring from a set piece or something is very viable. So, I don't know, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikalenko. I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, Tarko's out, isn't he? I think Tarko's out.
Tarkowski's out, yes.
But O'Brien's, I think he's just said in his press conference, O'Brien might be fit. Because again, there was a question mark over him. So yeah. But do you feel like, Dean, a defender transfer just is so low upside? I would rather use that on a
Well, they give a clean sheet and I get the goal scorer.
Well, I mean, yeah, but Everton defenders score a goal each season. You'd be pretty lucky to get one. I don't know. I mean, Big Man's right. Like the best chance of a clean sheet, but that's still the bookies are saying Everton won't keep a clean sheet. They're still under 50%. Any team over 50, the bookie is saying they'll keep a clean sheet. So, as always, sometimes you get one or two teams over 50. Arsenal at home versus a minnow, but yeah, Everton 46%. I don't know if it's worth a transfer, but I hear you. It's romantic.
Yeah. But even like over at Chelsea, playing against Man United, who Amarim's trying to play it up like he's really focused on this game. He's like, the players don't need to worry about if they're in this team this week or not. Then it doesn't matter. It's not. Don't read too much into it. We're planning for this game. This is the one that matters. Like, clearly it's not, is it? Like, clearly this game doesn't matter at all to Man United. And I just think you've got to target them. Like, obviously the teams you always target are the worst teams, and they're the teams that are going down, and that's fine. We can continue to do that this week. But targeting Tottenham and Man United has to be a thing.
Yeah.
And Chelsea really should have no problem with beating Man United tonight. So a Cucurella or something like that is also appealing to me. That's better. It's a bit more clear. Yeah. So Cucurella has been on my radar. So I've been thinking like this second transfer, because I don't know where else I'd get in an attacking player, to be honest with you. Like I could do a Cole Palmer, but everyone's doing that anyway. I've got to try and be different. So that's why I'm looking across at, maybe a Chelsea defender or a Villa defender, something like that.
Big Man, how are you feeling about all these odds in general? Like we see goals 2.65 for Villa, Chelsea 2.45. I know you've been anti. No, sorry, you've not been anti. That's unfair. You've been pro Cole Palmer, and he works for your team. But you own 3 Villa already. Ollie Watkins was never an option for you because you own triple Villa. If he had been an option,
yeah, I mean,
Watkins over Palmer.
I mean, to answer your question, even if I did not have 3 Villa, I think I would have prioritized Palmer or Watkins. I like both. Let me be very clear about it. I think if you don't have Palmer in your team, then Watkins is the best route to captaincy. Why I like Palmer over Watkins is because he's going to be more of a differential. Watkins is the highest bot player in this week, and Palmer's numbers aren't anywhere near. So he will be a differential. He could be that differential that you're looking to make up ground at this stage of the season. Because with just 2 weeks left, the only way you can make up a sizable lead is by captaining someone which your rival doesn't have. And Palmer, with the 2x variance, sort of eats up that ground, if he comes off, of course. Why I like him over Watkins is also because a lot of people who are making the Palmer transfer are looking to get rid of their Palace midfielders, and that is something I like. While those who are buying Watkins are either selling Isak, which is again, not ideal. Isak could easily do well against Everton in 38, and even this week's fixture is fine. I think a transfer to Watkins is more attractive if you're selling Mateta or Marmoush, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Watkins is a good pick in his own right. I expect both Villa and Chelsea to win fairly comfortably, and I'm expecting good point totals for both. I don't think there would be a huge point difference, personally, unless some crazy variance comes into play.
Okay, let's talk about both Watkins and Palmer in their own right. Dean, Chelsea first up. Are Man United a targetable team the same way as Spurs are? Like, Spurs are softer, aren't they, defensively? And Spurs, perhaps you could argue, will see a little bit more rotation. Does Palmer, with his recent form, put you off? Or do we see that home game versus Liverpool 2 weeks ago and go, actually, no, we can back him again?
I mean, it gives you more confidence for backing Palmer because of that performance, the way he talked afterwards, the way that you can see he can still turn it on. It wouldn't surprise me if the old Cole Palmer turns up for one big night before the end of the season and kind of, goes over to the United fans. He's doing his little goal celebration. Everyone's having a nice time. I could definitely see a situation whereby that opens up. I mean, I don't know exactly what position he's going to play. Like, is he the false nine tonight? Is that what we're going to be seeing? And you'll have a better idea than me being a Chelsea fan. But obviously, no Nicholas Jackson. Is that a good or a bad thing for Cole Palmer? Does it make any difference? Not really sure, to be honest, because Cole Palmer's kind of fallen off a cliff in the last 3 months. I don't know exactly whether it matters or not. As Roger says, Palmer turned it on from the penalty spot. Like, it wasn't just that Palmer scored from the penalty spot. Like, I don't really care about the goal.
He was player of the match before the penalty.
He was man of the match before that point. And the fact he actually scored the penalty was helpful because he'd missed one before that. Now, is there a likelihood Chelsea get a penalty against Man United tonight? Yes, Matt. I think there's a high chance that Chelsea would get a penalty against this Man United team, who are so fragile, right? Mentally, physically, like they're kind of scared of themselves sometimes, and because no one wants to get injured, the team that's going to be out there isn't really the full United team. I could definitely see a situation whereby Chelsea get a penalty tonight. So I think that gives you an edge towards having more confidence in Cole Palmer for a game like this. Still, perhaps think that Pedro Neto's a good differential pick if you really want to go differential. I don't have any of these players. And as I say, I've still got this one transfer. So am I going for like a Cole Palmer? Am I going for Neto? Am I going for a Cucurella? Or am I going to look at Villa? Or am I going to look at Everton? Like, there's one more person that's going to come into my team. And it could be anyone. I mean, money's no object. There's about 8 million in the bank or something because I've done stupid transfers like signing Beto instead of Marmoush. So I've got the money. So, yeah. Big man, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Pedro Neto plays number 9. You could like Pedro Neto.
9? Oh, okay.
Yeah, against the back 5. And Maresca spoke about this in his press conference yesterday. I don't think Palmer will play 9 against the 5. He said about playing against the 5, you need runners in behind. Playing versus a 4 might suit Palmer. So I think we'll see Pedro Neto number 9. But regardless, Palmer's good. Palmer's numbers with and without Jackson, big man, you'll know them. I don't think there was much in them in terms of the underlyings. He still looked good. He just wasn't delivering when Jackson was injured in terms of output, but the underlyings were still good.
Exactly. And because we're sort of diving into the Palmer discussion and the captaincy discussion, I would appreciate if you could get the graphic on screen for the captaincy. I think it's a fairly important debate to be had this week because it feels like a week where a lot of people are going different. And I would want to touch upon Palmer's underlying data as well, because I do think even though his returns have dried up in recent weeks, when you look at his underlying data over the course of the season, it's still pretty much elite. So when you look at his underlying data, he's operating at close to 0.7 XGI per 90, which is like really, really strong. That is despite the fact that his underlying data in the previous few games hasn't been as prolific as it usually is. So if I would rather trust the season-long average of a player we know is capable of delivering big and has been, a very reliable performer in the past against a defense which is one of the worst in the league with little to play for. rather than just go on recency bias with the previous few games alone. So you look at the non-pen XG, it's 0.67. It's actually higher than Watkins. It's just behind Salah. It's actually quite better than Mbomo. And I think if we are, let's say, if the season is over, we're sitting here in preseason, and if we're discussing who the top scorers in 25, 26 FPL would be, I think Cole Palmer would make the top 3 or top 4 for a lot of people who would be making that call. So just because of recency bias, I don't think we should be ignoring Palmer personally. I think fixtures create form, and this fixture this week for him is the ideal spot for him to find that form that he's looking for.
It's a good sell. It's a good sell, big man. I must admit, like, this graphic does show, like, clearly those numbers are pretty much identical to Mo Salah. And Salah's been the best player in the game by a country mile this year, but we've seen some underperformance from Cole Palmer in terms of his output, certainly in the last few months. In terms of opposition, though, big man, Man United for Palmer, Spurs for Watkins, and it is Spurs that they are the team that everyone really wants to target because we've seen them just open up defensively. Are you scared of not owning Watkins?
Yes and no, both. Yes, because obviously he's the highest owned player this week, and I can see Villa doing really well. No, because I have Isak, Wesson, Evan Nilsson, and all three of them can do well over the next 2 weeks. So yeah, that's basically the reason. But yeah, the FOMO is there, of course, because of the high ownership. If he does really well, it will hurt my rank. But I'm just hoping Palmer outscores him, and it probably won't matter.
Yeah, okay. I've just seen that there's this new craze where if a YouTube channel, when you hit 10,000 subs, the person that gets the 10,000 subscription has good luck for the rest of their life. They also have huge, huge, huge gains in FPL that week. So guys, one of you is going to be the lucky winner of the 10,000th sub of Chasing Green Arrows. And we need 9 of you to hit that button right now. Those 9, one of you will be the lucky one. You'll get a massive green arrow. It's written in the FPL gods. Your captain will bang 30 points. Guys, we would love you if you're not already. I guarantee from the 350 of you watching, there are a good 150 of you not subscribed. Check out that button. Click it to support the channel. We might just get to 10K. If you're already subbed, hit the like button.
Yeah, you get a meet and greet with Gianni. You get to go to his house. He'll give you a tour of the local area. He'll take you into the Premier League studios for a day. He'll introduce you to all his friends. Take you to a Chelsea game too. So that's all been promised too by Gianni. He's always said that from day one. That the day we hit 10K, he's going to do a VIP experience for the youth.
When we launched Fantasy Football Fest, we had this idea of VIP experience to meet like your favorite content creator, and I can't tell you how slammed we got for it on Twitter. To the point where when we launched it, we had this like £20 ticket and like £50 ticket or whatever it was. We took it down after about an hour of all the hate.
Oh, really? Well, mate, mine has just turned. Mine has just said we're at 10K.
Oh, we did it!
I think we've done it. I think we're there. I think that. I mean, if it wasn't 7:30 a.m. right now, I'd crack open a bottle of wine or something, mate. But big man, G, it worked. We got there in the end, before the end of the season. So thank you to everyone.
Delighted. There we go, big man. Let's have a special thank you from you, seeing as you're the attraction here today.
I mean, it's a heartfelt thank you to everyone for supporting us this season. I mean, it's been a long journey. I mean, I've been associated with the channel for almost 2 seasons now, and trust me, it's been worth the time and effort. And I get a lot of messages on my socials, people mentioning CGA, mentioning how much they like this channel. So any support is just really appreciated, and all such texts are extremely overwhelming.
Good man. Nice summary there, big man. And by the way, guys, so many of our chasers, we can't thank you enough. I'd love to like shout you all out, but the likes of CH, who's been there since day one, Heather, Colin, Freddie, FPL Discomfort, so many of you. Sachin's always with us. Derek too. My daughter's just climbed up to say hi.
Oh, look at that. What a celebration.
You've got no idea that she's live on YouTube, have you? You're going to say hi?
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Thank you for 10K.
Is it true that she's having a better season than you in FPL?
Yeah, mate. She's going to pick my captain tonight. I think I may as well just give her the option of the armband. Should I go Watkins or Palmer in? Watkins or Palmer and captain them?
Nah.
Not Watkins or Palmer. No. Okay. You think my less leading question. Anyway, let's move on. Dean got his captain graphic up. Cole Palmer, big man spoken about. Brian Mbeumo plays Fulham. Fulham are, if there's a team on the beach, it's Fulham, isn't it? Like Brian Mbeumo is a great option this week for the armband.
Look, this is a big game for Fulham because it's the local derby. At Fulham, we don't have a great record of going to Brentford anyway. Results haven't been great there. Brentford are going to be looking to make fun of Fulham in this game. They're going to be looking to have a lot of fun. I'm kind of glad I don't live in London at the moment because I wouldn't enjoy being in that away end with the Brentford fans gloating about how they potentially finish in the European positions and we don't. And I'd like to say that I believe we can go there and kind of ruin the party. I don't know that I do. Like everything's drained a little bit out of Fulham recently. They're still capable for sure of putting on a display. But I think everyone just feels a little bit subdued at the moment about the way that this is kind of petered out at the end of the season. So I do think Mbeumo is a very, very good shout. Obviously, I can't bring myself to do it. But I would say that I prefer him to Salah, for example. I mean, for this game week, I would definitely put him ahead of Salah. I might not even pick Salah. I might put Salah on my bench.
Oh, that is brave. Yeah, Salah's amazing for next week. I'm not expecting much from Salah versus Brighton. But Mbeumo, he plays on the Sunday. The FA Cup's the Saturday. If Palace win it, I think I'm right in saying, if Palace win the FA Cup, 8th spot, which is what Brentford are going for, won't get European football.
Yeah.
That'll be a bit of a stinker for them. Like, I love the carrot of European football for Brentford.
Yeah, so that's true. I guess that will depend on what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, all in all, Brentford are a good pick. So anyone that's got Visser and Mbeumo, I'm sure has relatively high confidence in getting some points there. And Ollie Watkins, obviously, a very good pick. I haven't got him in my team, but yeah, I think out of those four, it would be Mbeumo and Watkins for me would be the standouts.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on to our team reveals in a second. Guys, before we do, big man, I want to get your take on all those that are selling Isak this week. A lot are doing so. Plus your take on Mateta and Marmoush, they're being sold as well. Those three forwards, should we be selling them? Whilst you think about that, guys, if you did recently subscribe, please let us know your name in the chat. If you've just subscribed and you're one of the 10 people that probably did, put your names in the chat so we can give you a shout out as well, because you're all getting good luck for life, remember? And if you haven't yet subbed, this is the best time to do it. We're on 10K now. Let's celebrate. If you want to add your comment to the chat, hit that subscribe button. We'll also be giving away 5 free channel memberships today that only subscribers can win. So again, more reason to subscribe because 5 of you will win a membership before the end of the show. Big man, people are selling Isak. Are they going to get stung by that? Because I might be one of those sellers, and I am a bit twitchy, especially for next week.
You're referring about Isak, right?
Yeah.
I think, it's a really tricky one. I think it's probably the trickiest question of the week to answer. I think if you don't have Palmer, if you don't have a realistic route to him, then I think you need to do Isak to Watkins to get the next best captain, in my opinion. But obviously, as you mentioned, Isak could get something against Arsenal, and then next week at home to Everton. Newcastle are really strong at home, and I would expect them to do all right against Everton. I think it's a transfer which is fraught with risk. And it's something I would only consider personally if I didn't have the best possible captain, who in my opinion is Palmer.
Yeah, okay, that's me. I don't have Palmer, and I'm thinking it could be Isak out for Watkins because I want Watkins in. And yeah, he's my route. But let's see our teams. Guys. We'll spend 5 minutes in each team. Emre's got a super chat question. 2 questions that connected. Saka and Evan Nilsson next week or Neto this game week? who will probably play number 9, and then Isak next. If I do Neto, would you bench Wood this week for him? Look, Saka and Evan Nilsson's the smart money next week. Probably roll Emre and go for those 2 next week. But obviously, if you do want to go for this higher upside of a Pedro Neto, knowing he's a proper differential, if you do that, then your bench options, would you bench Wood? Yeah, I'd definitely bench Wood to play Pedro Neto. Like, Wood's not been great of late, and I don't expect Forest to score more than a goal. But yeah, I'd probably go with option 1 there, mate. Dean, let's see your team because I know we're going to be tight on time.
As it loads, we've got a few people who I think must be the new subscribers. John Hayes, he's mentioned in. SL, Jake Meadows, Mike has written in. Oliver says he just gave us a like. Paul is a new subscriber. Oisba has become a new subscriber. There's loads there. So thank you to all of you and more, whoever it was today that pressed the button. We do really appreciate it, and we're relieved to get over that 10K barrier. And now we're going to the moon, as Eddie Hearn would say. Let's see what I'm going to do. So, one transfer has been done. Marmouche out. Beto, the king, in. What?
So much money. 6.2 million now. Every transfer you make is saving that money.
Yeah.
You could go Palmer in for literally.
I could easily go Palmer in.
You could go Palmer in for Marlon.
Yeah, but what if I've suddenly seen a couple of people say in the chat that Marlon might start against Tottenham.
No. Who instead of? What, on the wing?
I don't know, but I'm suddenly like, well, hang on. If Marlon's going to get some minutes here, maybe I start Marlon instead of Salah. I'm chasing, mate. I'm chasing this leader.
Actually be awake for a leak for once.
But yeah, so Areola in goal against Nottingham Forest. I just prefer. I've got David. I'm not chaining goalkeepers at this point for transfer.
Livramento over Burn though. If he plays wing back, I know Burn's been amazing, but if Livramento is a wing back.
I assume I've been doing that for weeks, and Burn's the one who keeps getting the points. That's why. That's why I've had this like panic up and stuck Burn in for the time being. Who knows who will get the nod there? Munoz and Gvardiol pick themselves. Your midfield, yeah, and Burmo should probably have the armband, but isn't getting it because he's playing Fulham. Salah, I don't really want. Rogers, I think it's a good pick this week. Saka's a bit of a differential, one of the best actual players in the league. Surely he's due a goal. So I'm happy to stick with him.
Saka's missing big chance after big chance after big chance. Like, he is so due.
I know. So, yeah. So I've got one transfer left. I have no idea exactly who it's going to be. I've said that there's 4 teams I'm happy to target. I'm happy to go a bit rogue, as you can tell from the fact I'm talking about sticking Marlon in for Salah. For those that didn't hear at the start, my overall rank is 200k, which is fine. I'm happy with it and love to get a bit higher, but it's not making a difference to my life. I'm not going to be writing it in my bio for next year. But I would love to catch the guy who's top of my mini league, who's 50 points ahead. So I'm going to try to make a couple of picks that are rogue. Hence, Vardy's captain, Beto's in, and one more will be coming.
There we go. And Max is coming to San Diego with the wife in July. There you go. Good stuff, Max. Thank you for...
perfect time to visit, Max. The best time of year.
There we go. Big man, we're going to move on to your team next. Good luck, Dean. Vardy and Beto is so much fun up front. And look, 10.1 million total spend there. Most people are, that's 2 for 1. That's pretty much 2 for 1 on Ollie Watkins. And I reckon Beto and Vardy combined get a lot more points than Ollie Watkins. So
who knows?
We've got a super chat, which we'll get to in a second. But big man, we want to show your team as well. Dean, you might have 2 free transfers for next week, which will be fun as well. So guys, we are still doing next week as normal. Come by and see us next week as always, for our last week of the season. One last hurrah. Big man, this is your team. You've also got money in the bank. Not quite as much as Dean. Talk us through where you're at, who you're benching, and what your transfer is. And are you just making the one?
Yes, I'm making just the one. I'll be selling Eze for Palmer. I'll be benching Henderson, Kivior, Livramento. And I think the only realistic decision I have to make for my team this week is whether to play Sarr or Evan Nilsson. And I'm just not really sure what to do over there. I think that's one that could be could be a pivotal decision in sort of deciding my week, because Sar has the better fixture, but it all sort of comes down to my assessment of his minutes. So it's one which I'd actually appreciate some opinions on, because I'm not sure whether to play Sar or Evanilson.
So tough. If you were told now that Sar starts, I think you go Sar over Evanilson, just knowing there's a chance that Sar gets 20 minutes off the bench.
Absolutely.
Oh, and you know Evanilson's starting, and you know Man City, if they win or lose, it's 3 days later. Like, Bournemouth are going to get chances. I'm benching Kluivert, and I'm not comfortable about it. I think Kluivert's going to get some chances, just like Evanilson will, but that is what I'm going with, and I think I would say the same to you. I think I would risk Sar starting, knowing you're selling Eze as well. Sar is a bit of a minutes monster. I spoke to a Palace fan not long ago who said he plays him every game, pretty much. What do you reckon, Dean?
I mean, yeah, it's a very good decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard with Palace as well at the moment because of the cup final and stuff. So I think Evanilson is a really interesting pick for this week. And I think it depends how out there you want to be, I guess. I mean, obviously, Bigman doesn't really need to take any risks and can play it as template as he really wants. But Evanilson, I do think, could be one of the surprises. I saw someone just say a second ago, if City win the cup and then they go and celebrate that, basically, is there a hangover that Bournemouth can take advantage of? I mean, I don't think Pep and the lads are going out on the beers too heavy just because they beat Crystal Palace in the cup final. So I don't think that will make the impact, but it doesn't mean that Evanilson can't score against them.
Yeah, fair. And because City lost points last week against Southampton, this Bournemouth game does matter more than it perhaps would have done if they'd beaten Southampton with their pursuit of top 5, which I'm sure they'll get. Okay, that works for me, big man. Those moves are great. You're not going to have Watkins, but you have got triple Villa. You're going to have Palmer captain who could bang, and he's a lovely differential, Palmer. I just wish I had confidence in Chelsea like you do, because that's the only reason I'm not bringing Palmer in. As much as you tempted me, and when we streamed on Wednesday, you said, "Let's see my team," and you said, "Sell De Bruyne, go Palmer." I was so close to doing it. I emailed I WhatsApped the WhatsApp group, and they were all watching, and they were like, "Oh, big man's got in your head." And I was like, "I think he has. I think he's right. I think I should sell De Bruyne and go Palmer and captain him because I'm chasing." But I need to remember what I'm playing for now. It's mini league success over my best mate. I'm 30 points behind him, and he's not going to have Watkins. And who do I think gets the most points? Forget ownership for a second. Do I think Palmer or Watkins gets the most points this week? And in my heart of hearts, it's Ollie Watkins. It's against the Spurs back line. I can't trust Chelsea the same way. And I think with that in mind, I have to buy Watkins. Now, I've got 2 routes to him. I can sell Cunha to Watkins, but then I'm 0.2 short. So it would mean taking a 4-point hit, which then gets me Palmer, maybe. I could go, to get that 0.2, I could go Salah out, Palmer in. Or I simply sell Isak for Watkins, which makes sense. Big man, out of those 2 choices, what do you prefer? Salah out for Palmer and Cunha out for Watkins, or just straight swap Isak Watkins?
Look, it comes down to what your risk appetite is, and why I keep on bringing Palmer for your team the other day is because with Watkins, even if he does well and you buy him, he's going to be mass captain. So effectively, how much are you going to gain? I think captaining a differential is probably your last chance to regain some ground this season, and that's why I think you should be going for Palmer.
It's a fair argument, Dean. Like you said at the top of the show, it's why you're going Vardy. The only issue is I don't think Palmer gets more points than Watkins, and I have to keep coming back to I can't go against someone that I don't believe will get the most points, whether I'm chasing or not. And I've been going against obvious captains all season. I don't know why Gameweek 37 should be any different for me, and I guess that's why it's not one last big hurrah, because Gameweek 6, Gameweek 7, 8, 9, 10, when everyone was captaining Salah, I didn't even own Salah. And that's what's really hit me this season. That's why I'm on the rank I'm at. So I don't feel the need to go for a Hail Mary because I'm not someone that plays safe until the final few weeks anyway. Yeah. And I just think Watkins gets more points. But I would love to be here saying I'm going to captain Palmer and bring him in because he would be more fun.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, really. Like 2 premium players, Palmer and Salah. Salah in the last couple of game weeks has pulled 2 pointers, which is just a bit deflating and a bit pointless when you've got an asset of 13.4 million. Palmer, last time out against Newcastle, got a 2-pointer, but then there's that Liverpool game where he did get a 10-pointer. So there's a little bit of hope there in Cole Palmer. If I was to really push it here on my other free transfer, then I keep saying I don't want Mo Salah this week. I don't really care about having Mo Salah. And a few people in the chat said, "Well, get rid of him and get Palmer then." Like, if you don't think Salah's going to have a good week, go for Palmer. But obviously, like Palmer,
I like that spot for free. I just don't like it for a hit.
Yeah,
does Palmer outscore Salah in the next 2 by 4 points?
No. Well, who knows? Like,
I think he could outscore him.
Could, but it's just that last.
The 4 points is the bit that handicap gets me.
Yeah, obviously, that last game of the season, Liverpool at home to Crystal Palace, celebrating the league. Chelsea go away to Nottingham Forest, potentially with something on the line as well.
They'll need a win.
Yeah.
They do need to win.
I honestly don't know what the answer is to this one, and they're just neither of them are convincing, are they? But
Bigman, does Palmer outscore Salah 2 weeks in the next 2?
It's tough to say. I mean, I have zero interest in owning Palmer after this week, personally. The only reason I'm picking him is because I'm likely using him as a make weight to pivot to Saka in Gameweek 38. If you look at it from the perspective of 2 weeks, it's a completely different argument, and I think it's very close.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the other thing I can do is I can do, like we said before, I can do Marlon to Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I could, yeah, I mean, I could.
It makes much more sense, but
yeah, if I could do that, I'd be in.
Yeah,
but I still don't think I'd captain him. Yeah, Cole outscores Mo more to play for. I mean, Salah is playing for individual awards or records. But yeah, I hear you guys. I'm still not set on what I'm doing. Not gonna lie. I think I end up going Watkins in and captaining him. I'd love to be more fun than that, but this just isn't a week where I feel it. And I'll be watching Chelsea tonight, and I just know they'll disappoint me. I don't know. There's just a burnt Chelsea fan here, and Watkins is going to have so much fun. Guys, we've got so many questions. Let's get to them. There's 500 nearly of you watching. Guys, stay tuned. In 5 minutes' time, 5 of you are going to win a membership. We want to celebrate.
Thank you.
10K. So yeah, 10K is definitely achievable. We got there in the end, and we would love to continue that momentum. So if you are watching for the first time ever, then stay around for the next 10 minutes. But also hit that subscribe button if you can. Yeah, Christian, we won't be going for 11K subs today, but big man, here is a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I've read the question. Thank you, Saleh, for the very generous super chat. I'm in a similar situation with Bucker. However, I can't get to Palmer. I can't also do Watkins because I have 3 Villa. What should I do? 1 free transfer, 3.2 million in the bank. Kaiser to Saka, maybe. So I think then again, I think this comes down to your risk appetite, what you're chasing, if you're leading. I think if you're leading, then you don't have to go out of the way to pick Palmer, I think. And if you have triple Villa, then Watkins is pretty much a write-off. It's obviously not worth ripping your team apart to buy him in at this point. I think Eze to Saka is all right because it saves a transfer in 38 as well. But if you're chasing and if you want to go gung-ho, then you can consider other alternatives such as maybe even Mbomo to Palmer, but obviously that comes with a lot of risk and it's not something I would feel very comfortable with. But it depends. If you're chasing like 20, 30 points, it's a risk I would personally take.
Yeah, bench one of Isak, Rogers, Eze. I hate these 5. I couldn't bench. It'd have to be Eze in the fear that you get a cameo off the bench.
Eze, definitely, yeah. It would have to be.
Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, guys, and congrats. Yeah, thank you, mate. Not winning, but need to take my chances. Palmer captain is on. Should I hit to bring someone for Cunha? Big man, how do you feel about this part of the question? We know you like the Palmer captaincy, but what about replacing Cunha on a hit? Cunha came off early, but we're all talking about swan songs for club legends like Vardy and De Bruyne. Now, Cunha's not in that category. I still expect Cunha to be given the respect he probably deserves and start the next 2 games for Wolves, especially the home game in 38 against Brentford. It will be a goodbye. Cunha's still a good option, isn't he? I know he was off it last week, but he's surely going to start the next two.
I would expect him to start. And again, we look at this fixture, Palace, with a very short turnaround, Saturday, Tuesday turnaround, if I'm not mistaken. They would have given it their all in the final. And irrespective of result, I think considering that Wolves would have had 10 days of rest, they lost last week, which means they're probably going to be looking for a response this week. Vitor Pereira's numbers are really strong as since he's taken over for Wolves. Their attacking numbers in particular are pretty good. I would definitely expect Wolves to score in this fixture, in which case Kone as a talisman, there's a good chance that he's involved. I definitely won't sell him for a hit. I mean, we're sort of reaching that stage of the season where, it's difficult for hits to pay off because of the shortage of time that is left. And unless you're buying someone and captaining him, it is just very difficult to see a hit pay off.
Yeah, okay. Guys, we want to answer as many questions as we can. The more general ones that work for the wider audience will be put up on screen. So obviously channel members and super chats prioritize, but anyone that's maybe appeals to the masses, we would love, they'll be prioritized because we want everyone to stay tuned. So don't go anywhere for the next 7 minutes because we're going to be giving away 5 channel memberships. Guys, Wood or Isak to Watkins Dean, which one would you go? I mean, would you be bringing Isak in?
Isak or Wood to Watkins? I mean, I'd do Wood to Watkins, I think, because I'd still want Isak around for the last game week. So that's probably where I'd be. I even fancy Isak this week as well against Arsenal. I don't think he's a bad pick this week.
We'll go alternate questions. So we'll go to Bigman for Beto captain for a big push, and we'll go round Dean, Bigman, me in order.
I don't know. We haven't really seen anything from Everton this season to suggest that they're a very free scoring side. I think Beto is fine to score once, maybe, but I don't think the word big push is something you can associate with Everton attack. Yes, the motivation will be strong because it's going to be an emotional farewell to Goodison Park. But I think Beto is a safe bet for 8 or 9 points, but I doubt he gets more.
Yeah. Like that very much. Would you bring in Bowen? Bowen's been brilliant. I think there'd be other priorities. I still prefer that someone like an Asensio as a fun pick, but Bowen's obviously been great, and I wish I'd wildcarded him in. I was close.
Yeah. Christian says start Raya or Areola. Well, they're literally my 2 goalkeepers, and I'm going Areola, who's home to Nottingham Forest. So if you're going to follow me, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Saleh is asking, once again, I'm actually leading by 36 points. Should I keep Sar and Eze basically roll the transfer? No. I mean, in this position, you don't have to go out of the way to take big risks. I think I would probably sell one of them if you can do Eze to Saka. I think that's a good transfer because of doubts over Eze's minutes. I mean, Saka, I think, is a better player to own than Eze because of the doubt. And then next week, it's very likely that even if you save, you will be doing that transfer next week anyway because Palace are playing Pool away and Saka has Southampton. So I think I would probably make that transfer this week.
The bookies odds, by the way, guys, have slightly gone up off the back of the Postecoglou quotes. So Watkins is now 0.79 projected goals. He was like 0.74 or something. But Villa's goals, the graphic we showed you 10 minutes ago, didn't say 2.7 Villa. It now says 2.7 for Villa goals tonight. So that, again, a little boost on Watkins' love from the bookmakers. Interesting. Shall I swap Sar for Bowen and Saka this game week? Oh, yeah. I'd go Saka and save yourself a transfer for next week because everyone's going to bring Saka in next week.
Yeah. So I was just reading, someone said, isn't Fabianski starting because he's leaving?
I missed that.
I've missed that too. So,
I mean, it would make sense-ish.
Yeah, a few people are saying that. I'm just reading that there's FPL Fella's a West Ham fan, right?
Yeah.
And he says he doesn't think they'll take the risk on Fabianski.
How sentimental is Potter to a player like Fabianski? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I don't know, but I will need to
You're
look
not
at
going to
that.
get a 1 point cameo, are you? So it's fine.
Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, if Areola doesn't play, then it just means I've got David Raya in goal. Leo says Salah to Palmer for a hit, chasing a mini league. Well, I don't know really, because like depends if the other people in your league are also doing the same. Like the chances are that your rival might be getting in Palmer anyway. So I guess I guess so. I mean, I guess go for it. I've actually just pressed the button on my transfer while you were talking a second ago, and I have bought in Palmer for Marlon. And that's obviously not the tricky part. The tricky part is which of my 5 midfielders I leave out.
Yeah.
So my 5 midfielders now are Mbermo, Palmer, Rogers, Saka, Salah.
Your forwards?
The
Isak.
forwards are Isak, Beto, Vardy.
I'd drop Isak.
Would you? You'd leave because it's out of Isak and Salah, basically.
I'd drop Isak.
Big man? Drop Isak or Salah?
Yeah, I think reluctantly, yeah, I would drop Isak. I think because Salah could be your captain for a year.
There we go. Go on, big man, you take this one.
Salah or KDB to Asensio or Neto? I think I prefer Asensio. And I think I would sell De Bruyne now.
Yeah, since it's going to have fun. Guys, do we think, by the way, De Bruyne starts? Big man, are you confident of a De Bruyne start on Tuesday? How do you feel about that? He's on the programme.
Yes.
Oh, he's gone.
You'd had enough.
Got a bear. Yeah, Trossard or
starting.
Elanga for Palmer. Trossard's probably going to start. Martinelli went off injured in training in the week. But yeah, tough. Triple captaincy, wait for next week. Guys, we've got to give away 5 memberships in the next 20 seconds. We're not hanging around. In the next 20, 30 seconds, 5 of you are going to win a membership. Spam the chat. But to win a membership, you have to subscribe. You have to be liked and subbed. Am I lagging, Dean?
No, not for me. I mean, Big Man was Big Man. There was a gap between us and Big Man, so he would always taking a while to answer. But I think me and you are on the same wavelength for today, at least.
It's only been 3 years. Spam away, guys. You got to like, you got to subscribe, and you got to put a message in the chat, and then 5 people from the chat just get given that have given a message. Get given the memberships. It's out of our hands. Spam away, but you've got to be subbed and you've got to have liked. That's the rules.
That's right. But yeah, thank you everyone for that tuning in today. It's been a good one. It's been a fun one. Hopefully we've helped you with some random picks, because this is the time of year to take some chances. There's some fun games coming up this weekend that you wouldn't watch otherwise. Nobody's really tuning in to Leicester v Ipswich, are they? Unless they've got Vardy as their captain, or Everton against Southampton. Not a game anyone wants to watch, but suddenly there is if you've got Beto in your team. Big Man rejoins us just as everybody's spamming the chat to try and win a membership.
There we go. Big Man, as you went, I asked you on De Bruyne. Dean's confident of a start. He's got a start, hasn't he?
He's going to start, but I think he's going to get taken off early for the standing ovation. And yeah, I think if I was to guess 70 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. I get more than an hour, though, don't I, Dean? I get 70.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like the standing ovation is lost if it's pre-60. It's like,
it just looks like he's having a rubbish game. And just,
maybe Fabianski gets a standing ovation for you, Dean. That'd be hilarious. And
Areola comes on as sub for the last 20 minutes.
Asensio caps is so brave, Dinesh, but I don't hate it. I think Asensio's a great
pick.
my
goodness.
He's a great brave. If I had a room in my team for Asensio, I'd go there. I just don't want to sell Elanga.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
There we go. Who won him? Peter, Ellie.
Chester, Peter, Ellie or Eli, Max, and Freddie. There we go.
Congrats, guys. There'll be more videos from us next week,
guys.
including the members only bids. We'll be back on Monday. Thank you to all those that have subbed. Thank you to all the chasers as we celebrate top 10k.
10k.
Good luck this game week, guys. Dean, good luck with Vardy. Big man, good luck with Palmer. I hope he bangs for you. Although there'll be part of me going, why didn't I do it? And good luck to all those on Ollie Watkins. See you later.